Yeah, Laurent, why are you always wearing red, bro? Isn't your color blue?
Where do you see red?
Your fucking shirt?
That's crazy, bro. I didn't know the flu comes with being colorblind.
Then what color is that?
That is not red. I can tell you that right now. It's
Hmm.
orange.
What's it? Oh, CJ,
Yeah, it's an
let's
orange.
explain. Let's explain to him the colorway because I think he missed grade three. Is orange closer to blue or red?
That's not the point. The point is you asked me if it's red, and I told you no.
And
When we're
from
not,
this camera angle and your
mm,
shitty lighting,
none of that.
it looks
Mm,
fucking red.
it's not red, bro. Nice try though.
Yo, have you ever seen this man wear blue?
That's a good question. I don't think so, to be fair. Like,
Even the jersey revealed it. This man did not wear blue.
Ah, here we go again, talking about colors this, colors that.
yo, Laurent, do you have a favorite color?
I do not.
Hmm.
Laurent, do you have a soul?
I do not.
Hmm. Is that why you follow Chelsea?
Yeah, maybe. You know, I think you're onto something there.
Because
I
only
truly.
soulless people go to Chelsea and play for Chelsea.
Hmm. Jeez, I'm surprised Arteta isn't managing our club.
Arteta has a soul.
Hmm.
It's a building block soul.
Yeah, eh?
Ages like fine wine.
If anything, I'd say he takes the soul out of the game, like
Hmm.
his mentor Pep,
Hmm.
right?
Wow. Wait. Whoa. Whoa. I don't know if I can agree with that. You can't. You can't. That's blasphemy, bro. Pep is arguably the greatest manager of all time.
That's fair. No one's disputing that.
How does he take the joy out of the game? Because remind you,
Systems.
before you answer, hold on, before you answer, sorry to cut you off. The only reason why Enzo Maresca is successful right now is because of that man. So answer very wisely.
Wait, the two can coexist, right? You can be a good manager and still take the soul out of the game,
Okay,
right?
so how does Pep take the soul out of the game?
I mean, for one, I think clearest example is in terms of the freedom he gives the wingers. And if we're being real, especially on the attack, I believe the wingers are supposed to be one of the more exciting players on the pitch. Right? Flair, dynamics, intuition, innovation, right? All of these things. And more so than not, I think the wingers under Pep uh, uh, do not display it or they are constricted. And I think proof of that is simply when you kind of look at how they played prior to being managed under Pep, right? Example A, prime example would be Grealish, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
but
And
also Grealish. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I don't. Sorry, I didn't want you to cut you off.
yeah, no, no. So yeah, it's pretty much that. Yeah. But yeah, you were saying also Grealish.
But Grealish also, what was at his boyhood club, and the team was built around him. When
Hmm.
Grealish came to Man City, the team was already built around De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Rodri, Ruben Diaz. The core was already in there.
Right.
He
Yeah.
had to come into that core. He had to come into that system. So
Right. But
there's freedom given to players. It's just there's moments of the game, patterns of play that you can't just play freely. You can't have that madness, which is what Chelsea have, right? Enzo's trying to do the optics of it are Enzo's trying to do a hybrid of Pep system and I would say someone like Hansi Flick. That you guys are deadly on the counter, but if you get past that initial press, you guys are you can be had at. Prime example is the Sunderland game, right? Um, so I don't know if Pep ruins the game, and you can see him trying to, go against his um, methods and his practices because some of the players that he's signing. I don't think a few years ago you would have seen him sign a Ryan Cherokee or a Reinders or even a Jeremy Doku. Right? He was trying to get away from that. He wanted more possession style players. Remember the Champions League game against Madrid? How he lost his mind on Riyad Mahrez for not tracking back, but then the next play, the next
Hmm.
offensive possession, Mahrez scored, and he just
Hmm.
looked back at Pep.
Hmm.
Right?
So, okay, so what are you telling me? Are you telling me that modern football is has more soul than it did those 10 years back when you
Modern football has more soul than it did.
yeah, we're not even going far back, right? Let's say 10, 15, 20 years.
No, it does not have more soul.
So then what happened?
Uh, the number of games exponentially increased to allow players to have the ability to have flair. Because if you're going to be explosive and you're going to play with explosive, excuse me, tendencies, you can't be playing 100 games this season. That's impossible. You're going to pop a hamstring every year.
Hmm. So you're saying the soul of the game was taken out of it due to the number of games played.
Correct. And the sheer amount of greed that there is by UEFA and FIFA. Yes.
Hmm. CJ, you agree with that?
Um, just to confirm, so Soul being taken out of the game because of the amount of games that the players are playing. Is
Yeah.
that what
Yeah,
you're
And
so
the,
saying?
and the greed. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Interesting. And then Laurent, you're saying for a different reason the Soul's been taken out because
yeah.
of
I'm just saying it's the evolution of things, and I think that
yeah.
comes with even in I think games in general, right? What are games? Things that are looked to be optimized over time, right? And even if you take chess, I don't know if you guys personally have played chess, right? But I think it's the easiest thing that I can link into, right? Is over the years the strategies change and things become a lot more efficient. Yes, you have different chess players that do utilize certain strategies, right, of the past
Mhm.
that allow the games to be a bit more chaotic. But eventually, what things converge to is efficiency, right? Being able to do more with less. And I think that's even life, right? Just overall economically, right? You see what I'm saying? Everyone's trying to be as efficient on a day-to-day as possible. And I think it's no different with footy, right? If I can win X amount of games by playing this system, right? This pattern of play, I think right, this philosophy, managers are going to opt for that as opposed to right, allowing your players to get more touches, more possession, being prettier on the eye, right? So yeah, I think it's just the nature of the game, if I'm being honest.
So where do you stand, CJ?
I don't know, interesting points. Listening to both sides, I think I'd have to like kind of dissect this one further and really think about it. I don't think it's interesting how you've tied um number of games and linking that to the soul being taken out of football because of the number of games. I get that actually to a certain extent, but I think I never looked at it that way. Let's put it that way. I didn't really see it like that. But I actually now the more we're talking about it, I can kind of understand where you're going with that. To be fair, I don't think that's like that would be the main driving factor to say number of games means that the soul has been taken out of football. I mean, I guess from a fans perspective, we all love the number of games, right? So it depends on what side of the soul we're talking about. I mean, I think it's good for fans, right? The consumers, which is us, the number of games that we're watching, right? It brings us life. Funny enough, probably the opposite of taking soul out of it. It gives us life. It gives us joy to watch the football. But from I guess from the people involved on the inside, and most notably the players, of course, it can be energy sapping. So yeah, but I'm not sure actually. I gotta think about that one further and sort of get back to you. But I do kind of get what you're saying. My perspective, if I were to link, the soul being taken out of the game, I would link that maybe lean more towards. I don't know if this is what Laurent's point is exactly, but in terms of coaching and then I guess Pep Guardiola being the spearhead of that, on how he's managed to make the game more so about the systems, and as we expressed offline last week, making it a bit like less about individual freedom and individuality, more so about the team, and playing a certain way as a team as opposed to playing individually. I think that's where I would link this all down to. Again, I don't know if that's more leaning towards Laurent, where Laurent was going with it, but I think that's my perspective of it. However, and I know we will get back, we're going to dive right into it soon, but the way Man City's playing at the moment, I feel like their attacking players are playing with a lot of individuality and freedom of expression. So maybe Pep is changing his ways and diverting away from that sort of system-based football, because you're seeing it with signing a player like Turkey. I think, yeah, actually, well, you did say it, right? That's not traditionally a signing that Pep would have made or makes usually. That kind of freedom of expression type of player. But now we're seeing, it's not just Holland again with that team scoring goals at the moment. It's Turkey, it's Reinders, it's Foden, it's and when Doku was playing, he was starting to get into some form before he got injured. So it's an interesting sort of thing that we're seeing now. I think with is Pep now allowing his team to play with that freedom of expression. I'm not sure if you guys watch them week in, week out at the moment, Man City, but from what I can see, it looks like a different sort of team this year. And we did call it a transition year for them. So does that mean now that, in part of the transition, does that mean now he's diverting away from, controlling things so much, so to speak, and just allowing the players to play, right? That freedom of expression.
I mean, it's a funny point, when especially when we use the Turkey example, because I know after he did that assist, was it the Rabona assist?
Yeah.
And then you hear the comments that Pape made on it, right? Where he compared him to Messi, and overall, right? If you dissect it, it's like, yeah, it's nice, but I like it, but if it's simple, you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
there's an irony to it where, yeah, his player does that, but you can tell at heart he does prefer if the football is simply just simple, right? And again, I think, right, like I said, it depends on, for one, on which side of the coin you end up in, right? Because if you're the manager, your job isn't for pretty football; it's to get the results,
Get the
right?
result, yeah.
To win.
Yeah.
And yeah, right. And if you're a fan, depending also what kind of fan you are, right? Some fans like it for the entertainment factors. Some like it because, well, I want my team to win, right? So, uh, different incentive depending on what perspective you look at it as. But yeah, I think there's no right or wrong answers, and any day, right? It's just natural to where the sport is going to evolve to. So, yeah.
And the only thing that I was saying about um, like the passion or the flair in football and why the number of games has changed is because when you think about it, before all these like tournaments that was added, like the FIFA Club World Cup and all these summer tournaments, you would know you have to wait 4 years for the World Cup. In between, you have to wait for Euros. Like there was such an anticipation and ramp up, and now it just seems like there's always something coming. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like it's and again, we're content creators, so for us, this is amazing. This is where, we're gonna have a lot of our content from. But it kind of takes that like when you're like a kid and you constantly get what you want, it takes that like joy out of it. It takes that like appreciation out of what you got. That's what it feels like to me sometimes watching because I'm like we get so hyper analytical about these players and trying to like dissect these stats and all this stuff. And sometimes I don't think it's us three doing this, but I think when you kind of listen to some of the pundits, they forget when they were playing, it was maybe 2 games a week. And now sometimes it's like 3 games in 5 days, something ridiculous like that.
mm,
And then on top of that, you have international duty.
Mm.
Then your summer's cut short because you're playing FIFA Club World Cup. And then you got to come back early for training camp. And then you got to go away as soon as the season starts to for international duty. Then you got to come back and you play, you know what I mean? Like it's just constant.
Hmm. So I get
It's
that from a player's perspective, and again, those internally, players, staff, managers, right? Everybody needs a bit of a break, mentally, physically, whatever. But from a fan or consumer's perspective, like which is what we are as
it's
well, like
gold.
you don't enjoy that. Like I don't know, like do you feel like you get too much footy? Like maybe Laurent, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. I could watch footy every day if there's games on every day. Again, me a fan, a consumer, I love that. I'll embrace that. I don't see personally how I can ever get tired of that as someone who's a fan of the sport. I don't know
I would
what you guys.
rather enjoy watching it with the best players playing 90% of the time. And I think we've gone to a point where the best players are playing maybe 60% of the time.
Hmm.
That's my issue. I don't want to go to a North London derby and not have like James Madison playing or Mickey Van de Ven. Like if it, like to quote Laurent, like I want to play the best. Like I don't want to go to the Etihad and have Rodri not playing. Like I don't want to go to Stamford Bridge and have Cole Palmer stub his toe because he doesn't want to face Arsenal. Like man up and face us. The dig was always coming. It was just a matter of time.
Yeah, no, I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it. Yeah, no. Yeah, I definitely agree though with but it's like you said too. It's like there's money involved, so obviously there is that greed factor, right? And yeah, they're looking to milk it as much as possible now, right? And it should be interesting to see, right? Just to what extent they're willing to take it, because obviously, as we've noticed, I think injuries is becoming a big part of the equations.
Mm.
Hence, right, the rotations that are happening. Hence, what Murdoch described, right, as well. Now you have a lot of these big name players, right, who don't tend to play as often, right, or in the majority of those games, right, due to risk assessment. But yeah, no, I think it's just one of those things again, right? We have to see how it evolves and embrace the change for what it is, I guess. And yeah, no, but for me, like all I ask, right, is like I described it last podcast, right? It's the small things in your footy, right, that is even fair. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm not asking like what Murdoch is describing, like that burst of pace or anything that's gonna like mess up your hamstring, right? Like roll the ball a 1-2 here and there, right? Go for you're in the PK, right? You're in the box, pop that ball up, try to go for like a bicycle. You see what I'm saying? Like something like that, right?
So essentially, you want Richarlison on your team,
Shit. My- I mean, yeah, why not? Take off your shirt after a celebration,
and then for
and
it
then
to
you
only
get
be
scored
called
on.
offside.
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah, no, but
Oh shit!
yeah, I think there's still room for characters, right, in the game. Um, and just for that, right, like that aspect. I can't remember who said it, but back in the days, you have like those players that bring a certain thing to, right? When they're coming on the pitch, there's a certain thing that you're looking, right, for these players now to do, right? And then they embody that. And nowadays, I can't even, right? Like it's very rare. You have, like you have the Yamin Lamals. Who else? You see what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, man, it is what it is.
Hmm. All right. Well, we're back again. So it's 68, guys. Fucking 68. That's uh, that's insane. You guys have been here with us. 68 episodes have come and gone, and we still have not seen Mr. Piana in a blue jersey of any kind. Of any kind. Maybe for the 100th, we'll see him in one. But if you're a betting man, I would bet the under. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm just waiting for the sarcastic response.
No, man, I got nothing to say.
No? Okay.
No.
Okay. Um, Another Christmas has come, and we're leading atop the Premier League again. Margin's a little bit tighter this time around, um, but a crucial away win at Everton at the Hill Dickinson Arena or Stadium. Sorry. Um, this is actually our first win away from home because the last three games we lost one and drew two. One was at Chelsea, one was at Sunderland, and then we lost the Villa game as well. Um, Couple talking points that I have before I hand it to you, CJ. I think it was a class move by Saka and Ødegaard, the same thing that they did for Kai Havertz, giving the ball to Gyökeres just to get him um, out of his head. And you saw when Declan Rice went up to him after he scored, he said, "You know, you're a goal scorer. Keep doing that." I think he played well when he had that run down the channel. I wish he would have done a little bit more with it, but Keane and Tarkovsky were just trying to hit him. Like you saw from early on, that's all they were trying to do. They knew that he was physically able to put up with them and his pace, and all they wanted to do was hit him from the onset of the game. Trossard and Gyökeres, I think we chatted about this last pod or two pods ago. They have a pretty good connection going on that left side. They know how to rotate within each other. When Trossard drops in, Gyökeres fills that half space on the left side. Um, so it seems to be a good partnership, and they have they know how to play off of each other's strengths. And then the last thing that I have to say is we're back on top of the Premier League. A few hours we were second because of Man City. But like Laurent's going to say, Premier League isn't one in December. It's one in May. So CJ, what do you think? Was that convincing enough for you?
Well, simple answer for me is no. Yeah, I'm gonna say no, and I'll explain why. Um, I still think we don't quite look the same in terms of the early season dominance, I guess, that we had. Like, the unbeaten run that we went, what was it, 16, 17, almost 18
18.
games unbeaten. And in those games, we did look like, the best team in the league or even the best team in the Champions League in all those games that we were playing, right? If you watch the performances, it looked controlled, like but dominantly controlled. And we were actually scoring goals, twos and threes and clean sheets. And, you just looked at us and it looked like teams couldn't really get near us, right? It looked like we just were visibly the best team on the pitch. But as of lately, we haven't looked like the best team on the pitch for large spells of the game or for as much of the game as it should, right? And there's contentious points in each of the last few games that we've played where you look at it and it's like one little difference here and there and the result could have gone the other way. And obviously the elephant in the room with this game was the PK. And I can start off on that because yeah, I under the impression that should have been a PK. I don't know how it wasn't because if it happened to one of our players, I'd be fucking fuming. Like, I fully think that was a pen, and I think we got away with one. But I'll be the first to say that I'm glad that one finally went in our favor because you often see the City players get away with those, Liverpool players, and yeah, and we talk about it afterwards. But if we complain about it as Arsenal fans or whatever, we just sound like all salty and this and that. But it's fine. This time on the other side of the coin, there's other rival fans who shall remain nameless. Who were a little bit salty that Everton probably didn't get the penalty. It is what it is. We move. Yeah, we got away with one, and again, it's fine. It's finally one of those ones where the fortunes go in our favor. Let's put it that way, right? So it's as simple as that. But I think overall, regardless of that, despite the fact that I still don't think we're playing at our optimum best, we were like the 3 points and the win was deserved in the end. You know what I mean? I think it's justified. Like if you looked at that game and said if one team was going to win it, it looked like Arsenal, right? Arsenal was fully justified for their win. Just simply based on the chances missed, especially in that second half. I mean, bro, again, I was sitting there uncomfortable in that game because Trossard should have scored. You guys remember that one where Declan Rice plays him and lays it off to him in the box, and that curler that hits the post. For me, you got to score that, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You got to put that away for us. That's a crucial time in the game. that goes 2-0, it's certainly game over, you know? A couple of the chances, I mean, Zubimendi hit the post as well, with a low drive into the 18-yard box that hit the outside of the Pickford's post. Saka had a couple chances that he should have put away. And yeah, you're sitting there watching most of that and you're uncomfortable, at least from my perspective. And again, earlier on in the season, or dare I say when Gabriel was in our back line, even if we were up 1-0, I'm confident that we're seeing out the game. But as of late, something with me just doesn't feel the same, and I'm a little bit more nervous in our defending and in our back line. And I think a little bit of PTSD, right? Like when we're up 1-0 in this game and it gets to the 85th minute, I mean, how many late winners, sorry, not late winners, but late equalizers, late winners have we conceded lately, right? Villa, Sunderland. So you're kind of thinking from a PTSD standpoint, you're thinking, shit, like this could be techie, in this last 10 minutes. And then, the fact that City won earlier in the day, there's all these things that made this one a little bit more uncomfortable of a watch for me. And I was definitely squirming in my seat watching that, especially in the second half. But overall, I still think we don't look fluid in attack, right? And I'm curious to know what you guys think about that point as well. I'll let you guys come in on that afterwards. But I'm not seeing, like, my thing is with what we spoke about last podcast, right? When I talked about how with Everton, with what they were missing in terms of some key players and key personnel, I just feel like a Man City in their pump or Liverpool in their pump, they go to that ground yesterday where Everton, and they were poor overall, let's be honest. Like, they didn't really lay a glove on us much. Obviously, they tried to get things through long throws and scrambles in the box. It was like that typical mid-table team playing against a big side, who they're feeding off of scraps in the box, the long throws, the corner kicks, those kind of things. But they didn't really throw much else at us at all, And again, they were missing key players. And I just think that, City and Liverpool in their pump, right, they'll go to grounds like that and they'll win that game 2-3-0. And they'll fully make it known that they were quite clearly the better side, and they'll dominate. And the scoreline will reflect that. Whereas I don't think the scoreline reflected what it should have been. I think we really should have if their best player is playing, right, that Ndiaye or whatever, who is at AFCON at the moment, if he plays, or if Ghana plays in midfield, right, or if who else they're missing, Dewsbury Hall, if he plays, like, you know what I mean, like, those are big players for them, and those could have been difference makers for them on the day.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? And they were missing those guys, and we still only managed to scrape by 1-0 off of penalty. I don't like winning like that. Now, at the end of the day, it's 3 points and we move. But again, this game, the Wolves game, I'm not going to look back on either of these games and want to go watch the highlight reel anytime soon. You know what I mean? I was just like, okay, we got 3 points and we get out of there. But it wasn't a great performance, and I was still kind of squirming in my seat watching that. I mean, we did create more in the second half. I don't think the first half was very good outside of the penalty. Obviously, we got that. Rightfully so. But overall, over the course of the 90 minutes, again, especially in the first half, I don't think, again, that P word, I do not think we were direct enough. We did not penetrate enough. We weren't, you know what I mean? We just lacked something there, I think, and I was kind of thinking at some point, okay, we're up 1-0 now. How are we going to react? Because over the last few weeks, we've said when Arsenal goes up 1-0, we take the handbrake off a little bit and then we sit off, and then we try and make it more of a controlled game instead of going for the kill, instead of getting that second, third, right? We just kind of take our foot off the gas and want to win games 1-0, a controlled 1-0 or a controlled 2-0. All it takes is one shaky moment for the opposition to get back in the game. And that happened. That almost happened in this game. And the first player I wanted to mention is Saliba. Because a lot of people said that he had a good game, and I do think that he did overall, but I think more is made of his performance than what it should have done. I don't think he was his usual exceptional Saliba self. In moments he was, but there were a couple times, especially in the second half, where he almost let us down, to be honest with you. There was one
Switched off.
There was one right in the middle of midfield. He played a ball into midfield, a loose pass, and then they almost went on the counterattack. And that was the one where Zubimendi fouled that Barry just outside the box, and Barry went down too soft, to be fair. But that moment led from Saliba giving the ball away in midfield, right? Obviously, the contentious penalty, it was him who, swiped at Barry, which is a little bit rash, to be honest with you. I get it. You have to go for it. It's in the box. But, he could have caused us the PK there. And then there were a couple of times down the channel, right? A couple of times long ball over the top. He went into like that right back in the corner of the right back area and tried to sort of shield the ball or try and turn away from pressure. But, Barry or Beto, the Everton striker, sort of nicked it off of him. And almost drove in on our box a couple times. So I think it was a mixed bag for Saliba. But obviously there's times, especially in the first half, like you're just looking at him in moments and you're like, this guy's just too good. Like, you can't get by him. I remember a couple times in the first half when the ball would go down the channel And his reading of the game is so good that, I mean, you never see him go to ground, right? A sign of a good defender, like Van Dijk was like this too, obviously, in his prime. Those guys ever rarely have to slide tackle. When you have to slide tackle as a defender, it's like it's last ditch. It's like you're kind of reaching at a desperation. Guys like Saliba and Van Dijk, when they defend, you rarely see them go to ground or slide tackle because their reading of the game is just so good. They always know where to be. They don't need to make last ditch challenges or go to ground for a slide tackle out of desperation. You know what I mean? So in the first half, you're seeing that, and you're like, yeah, like, Saliba just had these guys on toast and in their pocket. But I think the second half was a little bit more loose from him. And maybe again, I'm still thinking that we're missing our guy Gabriel. Man, he's the leader at the back. He's the captain at the back. I don't care what anyone says. Him and Declan Rice are my overall captains. And just Gabriel's communication, his leadership, his aggression, his strength. I think we're still missing that, despite how good we still are, obviously. But players like that you need in a title race, So Gabriel can't come back soon enough for me. But yeah, I mean,
I agree.
From your guys' perspective, actually, before I bring it on to you guys and get your thoughts on what you watched, not David Raya. Actually, yes, David Raya. He's the one player I wanted to flag as my player of the match, personally. Again, none of our attacking players really stood out. I mean, Saka does what Saka does. He gets on the ball. He's pretty active. But again, should have scored for me, and maybe a couple other moments he could have been better in. But I think David Raya gets my man of the match. Funny enough, the day before, Laurent was talking about how exceptional Sanchez is and this and that. I didn't watch that game, but I did. He did concede a couple goals, to be fair. And whilst obviously, I think Sanchez is a good shot stopper. I think we're seeing. If you guys watched that game yesterday, if you watched the Arsenal-Everton game, I think you're seeing why David Raya is what he is. He's not just a shot stopper. His commanding of the ball in the box, like how many times did Everton try and put the ball in the box? And the way he reads the ball to come out and collect crosses, like we're talking about a guy, he's not like the Donnarumma heights, right? Or Courtois or even a Sanchez height. Like he's 6 foot flat, which is not very tall for a keeper, but the way he comes out and commands his area is almost second to none. He does that really, really well. Balls come into the box, he'll come and bail his defenders out of pressure by coming in to collect the ball. And then his distribution after that. I mean, again, I don't know how much you guys actually watched it. Pay attention to his distribution. His distribution was on point yesterday in that game. And it is for the most part, naturally, right? But he distributes the ball very, very well. I don't know if you guys remember one time in the first half too. It's so much composure that he even detailed this.
Yeah, that was
Barry
fun.
came running at him.
I was like, yo, the
dude, don't run at
audacity.
me. Yeah. Barry's running at him. Barry's running at him, flying in like that. So David Raya just gives him a quick chop and says, "Yeah, see you later." But yeah, man, I think
pick up my coffee with that.
Legit, bro. Like, I think he's proving his worth to this team as well, right? And I think he will go on to get third Golden Boot in a row this season, or Golden Glove, I should say. And now naturally, again, having in people like Sanchez's defense, getting those clean sheets and whatnot is also down to having a good back line in front of you. So he definitely has a good back line in front of him, David Raya. But again, you still see there's nothing to take away from him and his performances. He's a class goalkeeper and he helps us in so many ways other than the shot stopping. He just calms us down when things are under pressure, the distribution, the way to collect the crosses. So I think he was my player of the match, and I just wanted to flag that real quick. But yeah, without further ado, boys, starting with Laurent again, to see if you touch on it. I'm sure you watched the game. I'm curious to know what you thought about the performance, because like I said, that for me, it was something that I'm still concerned with when it comes to Arsenal and our performances lately. So on the eye test for you, what did you think, objectively speaking?
I mean, I think if I'm being objective, right, and I kind of also hint at what you mentioned, right, that the teams like City, right, any team in their era of domination, right, these kind of games, you know what I mean, the performance is set at a very high bar, right?
Puts them away.
Yeah, and yeah, especially that chance, trust out heart, things like that, right? You have to put away because 1-0, right? That's a scary scoreline. Because more often than not, you find that teams kind of get complacent with that lead, and you can easily concede, right? At a wrong time. And yeah, no, I think even in regards to that penalty, right? The non-penalty. That's something there, right? That were they given the call and had they scored, right? Suddenly,
I would have been fuming, bro.
yeah, Yeah. So no, I think there's definitely a lot more, right? That needs to be done. And for me, again, Gyökeres, I think he has to do a lot more. Um, right? You can't be out here. If the word is scraps, right? That you did use, I think that's what that was, right? You know, you're being fed PKs, being fed goals, right? And you're supposed to be Bane. You're supposed to be the guy that comes in, scares everyone else. But look, it's recess, it's lunchtime, and you got people out here collecting, you know, food to give to you so you can eat. Unacceptable. You have to find a way to get that ball in the back of the net during regular play, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Your thoughts, Murdev, on the game and the performance?
I think I would echo a lot of things that you said, but I think it's just these are the games that last year we would lose or draw, and last year we did. So for me, it's like get in, get out. It's a crazy fixture list. Um, we've had a lot of injuries. We haven't had consistent lineups, and just get out with 3 points, and do a job. Doesn't mean that I'm happy, but when I'm looking at it, to Laurent's point, the league isn't won right now. The league is what are we doing consistently over the Premier League season? And when I look at the run of form that we had, yes, we've had a shaky run of form, but it has come down to a lot of injuries as well. And I think we're starting to get healthier and we're starting to get more dynamic with our front three. Um, and I think it's only going to bode well for us because we're going to be able to throw different things at teams at different times. I think we need Gabriel back badly. And I think once he is back, it's going to shore up a lot of things. But when I was watching that game, like as soon as Saliba hit, I was like, fuck, here we go. Like I was just waiting for it. And then when they didn't call it, I was like, wait, what are they seeing? Because if, like, I just didn't understand. Because they called the one last year against Bournemouth. Remember when Saliba hit,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry, it was Brighton when he hit
Good.
João Pedro in
That's
his
it.
head.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is a stretch. But this was like a
Yeah, yeah.
clear,
This was
like,
worse.
this was way worse.
Yeah.
Um, I think Vieira had a shitty weekend, to be honest with you, because Chelsea had 2 penalty shouts. Um,
Huh.
they did. Spurs just, I don't even like, when we get to Spurs, I just need to, just kind of rip into them for a sec. Um, but yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, I wasn't happy, but job's done, 3 points.
Are you concerned about the performances going forward? Like, do you think our performances need to improve, or are you happy with how we're playing at the moment?
Obviously, they need to improve, but I'm channeling that because we have so much like uncertainty in the squad. Like if we're able to put a makeshift back line together and win these tight games, okay, so be it. But when it gets to like the serious games, like you better show up. Like I'm more disappointed in Saliba than anything. Like there was a few times I'm like, well, how are you getting beat? You know, it's not like you're facing Holland. It's not like you're facing like a top striker. You're no offense, like you're facing Beto. So worried, I think it would be a very, I would say slightly concerned, but also is just coming back from injury as well. And Everton is a tough place to go to. And we typically don't do well away from home at Everton. So I'm just trying to put things into perspective. But if you're asking me, do we need to improve? 100%. 100%. That's not even a question.
Yeah, because I'll tell you this much too. They're not jumping ahead too much. You guys know what game I'm looking forward to? A week from this Tuesday is we play Villa again at home in the return leg, if you want
Yeah.
to call it that, in the Premier League. And I am seeking all types of revenge on them. Um, And if we play like how we played against Everton and Wolves against this Villa side at the form they're on at the moment, every chance we can get beat at the Emirates. You know, they're flying at the moment, and we need to pick that shit up. I don't want to foreshadow too much ahead because we have 2 games before that Villa game, but um,
Yeah.
yeah, these are the kind of things that I'm thinking about, right? In terms of we have some big games coming up, and if we want to go on to achieve what we need to achieve, we're approaching the business end of the season once the turn of the year comes. There's certain things that you're looking for to improve, right?
Well, going through the Premier League games, Chelsea, they started off the weekend, um, came back from 2 goals. Uh, Reece James scored a worldie. Like that was an
Yeah.
unbelievable goal. Um, but there was 2 penalty shouts. One of them which was a handball, and one of them which was a Trevor Chalobah tackle. The handball more so than the tackle, because I think the tackle is just a 50-50 shoulder. But this is the reason why I don't think Chelsea were ever serious in the title race. I think too shaky in the back line. And there's no stability. But this is also the reason why Chelsea can remain in the top 4. So, Mr. Piana.
Do you mind if I
Oh,
Do you
sorry.
mind
Yeah.
if I interject for a moment, Reda, before you pass it on to
Yeah.
Laurent? So these 2 penalty incidents, I didn't see them. Okay, like the ones that you're saying that Chelsea should have conceded or should have been given penalties against. Laurent, before you dissect the game, did you see? Because you didn't say anything about them. Did you see these 2 incidents? I'm sure you did, obviously, in the game that he's referring to. Like, what was your take on them? Were they actually? Because I didn't see them. So were they actually? Should they have been given against Chelsea, or were they actually penalties? And was Newcastle hard done by?
I saw the Chalobah one I saw. That to me, if anything, they're gonna say he came from the back, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the penalty call or claim comes from. For the Fofana one, I feel like I've seen it. I remember in real time, but his hand was like down there, and then the ball hits him, right?
Yeah, but he moved his hand. Like it was not in a
Mm,
natural position. And then there
mm.
was one with Reece James as well.
Bro, no, that one. Now
That
you're
one,
reaching,
that
bro.
one was less so,
N
but there
bro,
was still one.
no, 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 no. That one was nothing, bro. You talking about who was it that player that they brought in second half? I forgot what the guy's name was, and then he dove.
Kalanga?
He dove in the box. Is that what you're referring to?
No, 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 no. That was a dive. Oh, no.
So which one are you referring to?
I'll have to go back and check. But there was I know there was 2 for one, like 100% sure. There
Mm,
was 2.
all right, bro. No, listen, no need to be adding in more contentious points to the Chelsea storyline, eh? But other than that, though, yeah, I think that Chalobah one to me that looked more so 50-50. Um, like I wouldn't personally give that, right? Even if it was against our player, because even at that angle, right, there's nothing much that even Gordon would have done, in my opinion.
Yeah, but he's
Uh,
shielding the ball. You have to go
but he
through
did
him to get to the
the,
ball.
the thing is he didn't he wasn't shielding it or he didn't have control that level of control at that point. You see what I'm saying? Where
But if it was
he
anywhere else on the field, would that not be a penalty? Free kick?
even with that logic though, I don't think if you say that, I don't even think that any foul elsewhere on the pitch is automatically a penalty call. If it's, you see what I'm saying? If the foul is the same nature.
But if it's side by side, you have more of an argument, but he went through his back. If it's side by side, then it's more of a 50-50 than going through someone's back to get to the ball. Whether he has control or not, you have to go through him to get to the ball. There's an assumption made by you that he didn't have control. You know what I mean?
All I would say is that's why it's important, right? And they teach you this. I remember even seeing commercials on this when I was young on like YTV and whatnot. But it's important, kids, to get your protein in early morning, and to make sure, right, that you do grow strong bones and all of that. Because clearly, as we've seen, right, Gordon was not up for that, and you know, that's where I'll leave that. And in response to the other one, the handball, that one I can't really comment on because I did see glimpse of it, but I didn't catch the replays and all that to give a fair assessment. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay. Well, we got homework then.
yeah. And mind you, please, I'm also looking forward to that third incident that you said was a penalty shot as well.
Sure.
So all
Sure.
right, yeah. So I guess we both have homework, eh?
We definitely do. We
All right,
definitely do.
perfect, perfect.
Um,
Oh, sorry, but hold on,
oh
because
yeah, yeah, because you didn't even give your analysis
yeah,
about the
yeah, yeah.
game.
So because I know CJ took this time to shout out Raya, and rightfully so. I mean, right, Raya I think is a keeper of high quality, right? Distribution, also his control. I think what people also understate about him is his control in the back, right? When those passes come in, his composure. So yeah, no, he's very solid. Um, but I will ask this: does Raya have an assist for the
Oh, here we
weekend?
go. Here we go.
I do have to ask, right? Because CJ took well, I wouldn't say a shot, but he did mention Sanchez, right? And the fact that I bring him up, but again, bro, our keeper had an assist and a beautiful assist is that, right? And his distribution also for Sanchez is highly underrated. He's done this many times before. PSG game, right? Club World Cup finals. For those who simply choose to forget, right? Um, and I think even his shot stopping, right? You're right in saying that our back line or the back line is important, right? To keeping clean sheets. And to me, I think that was evident in this game. Um, if you guys do not recall that first goal of theirs was scored, um, Sanchez had an amazing save. He did what he did, and then obviously the ball spilled. Chalaba had the chance, right, to kind of clear it up, but he missed the ball. And then I believe it was Woltemade who put the ball in the back of the net, right? So I think Sanchez, right? For me, he's the keeper that we do need. Funny enough, right? Despite all the negative that he did receive earlier in the season, but so far he has shown, right, that he can play. And now it's more so to me the back line, right? That is a disappointment. But beyond that, I do have to credit Gordon because those two balls I believe were on his side, right? And that service, that level of service of quality is you don't see that too often, in my opinion, because these are the kind of balls that keepers hate, right? It's
Mhm.
almost like no man's land, right? It's that kind of territory where a keeper can go for it, right, and risk it, or he stays on the line, and now you're trusting your defenders to get to it first because
Yep.
anyhow, an attacking player, right, connects with that ball. The connection sometimes don't even have to be clean, right? It's so close to the ball that it takes the ball in any direction, and usually keepers, right, cannot react fast enough, and even if they do, that ball is right probably put in the wrong side of the net for them, right? So credit to them, and we're down 2-0. I almost thought we were gonna lose that game, if I'm completely honest, right? At that point, is my prediction, or sorry, it was us, none of us getting any points or getting the draw, right? And you guys getting the points, and I don't get anything, right? And yeah, I really thought then, well, but then Reece James stepped up, right? Great free kick, and
Oh, worldie free kick.
yeah.
Don't sell it short. That was an unreal free kick. Like that was
Oh
to
wow.
score from there.
Mm.
Like, and Ramsdale is no slouch. Like Ramsdale can get there. That was a that was
But
a that was a great free kick.
some people were criticizing his position during that free kick.
Some people need to fucking go kick rocks.
Mm.
Let
But
me let me see you let me see you play in a Premier League game. Like, shut up. Don't take away from the goal. That was an unreal goal. He
Yeah,
has a
posting in,
lot
right?
to do. Huh?
Posting in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it hits the post and goes in, like no keeper is getting there.
Yeah. James has a
uh,
lot to do. And the other factor that none of us are talking about is you're not playing a team that has short defenders. That
mm.
wall is massive. yes, Dan Burn wasn't there, but you got Walter Mata in there, you got Shar in there, you got um, Tiao in there. Like they have a massive wall that they can create.
Hmm.
So I'm not hearing any of that positioning bullshit. No,
Okay, okay.
no. That was like I watched the highlights and like I was like, wow. I had to rewatch the free kick a couple times because I was like, damn, that was you gotta give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. And then the second one, right? João Pedro really stepped up on that one. Um, the pass was exquisite. The first touch, bellissimo. Right? You take your player out of the equation with one touch, off balance, the guy drops, and you keep going, and then compose finish, right? So,
Defenders
um,
got to be stronger there, man. No, I got to be honest.
I agree. I agree, but again, I think because when you watch, I think he anticipated it to kind of go the opposite direction, right? Which is why he shifted that way, right? And again, you have to credit the first touch on the attacking player, right? Because what that first touch does is it forces the guy, right, to now look to shift his weight back, and then you kind of, you joss him a little bit, and yeah, right. Again, word of the day, boys and girls, is protein, right? Here at Chelsea FC, we take great pride in our protein consumption, right? No sausages, for those wondering. And
Except Cole Palmer, he seems to miss the memo for the protein. But yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll give him a talk about that. But yeah, no. I think we do have to, like Murdat says, fix the issues in the back line for sure. Because that was an awful start to the game, but we managed to save it in the end. So yeah.
Only last comment I'm gonna say about this game.
Mm.
You said, does David Raya have an assist after this game? No, but David Raya does have 3 points and another clean sheet. So just saying. Just saying. Mm. The silence of the Chelsea fan is thanks to yours truly. And also, I'm not going to forget that you fucking said Anthony Gordon isn't good a few weeks back when we were talking about left wingers.
Bro, I never said he was not good. I just said I would prefer like a Doku.
Doku would not be able to cross the ball like that. Just saying. Just saying. Um, Wolves. Are they going to get another point this season? Their last point came in August. And you guys saw Strand Larson miss the PK?
I didn't know he missed a PK. What was the score at that point?
Yeah, 2-0. Oh, 1-0.
Oh,
Mm.
well, yeah, they're doomed, huh?
I think they're going to go down as the worst Premier League team in history. Worse than Derby County.
Yeah, fuck, man, that's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
I don't really see where they get any points from, man.
Who do they
Like,
play next? It's one of those we have to go on like week by week and see where there's a potential comeback.
Liverpool? Nope. United? Nope.
United,
Um,
United plays them again?
yep. At Old Trafford. West Ham at home.
You gonna bet on that one? United Wolves again?
Yep. 100%. Um, See, the difference is I put my money where my mouth is.
So you think that Wolves will get points from that game again? Yeah.
No, no, no.
Okay.
Wait, so
Ev
what are you gonna bet on then?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
uh, over 2 goals and United to win.
Oh, so you're betting in United's favor.
Yeah, because it's at Old Trafford. Different
Oh, yeah.
story than the Molyneux. What the hell?
Yeah, no, but that's not much of anything, you know what I mean? Like it's like okay.
I was
I
just
thought you
saying.
I thought you're gonna yeah, and then wow, you actually really still think that I was gonna put money on Crystal Palace? That's crazy. Especially
I
after what
mean,
they got
I'm
slapped 4-1. They got slapped 4-1, right? Of course, bro. I know your heart lit up when you heard me say that, right? Anyone would take that bet any day if they're
I
an
mean,
Arsenal
listen,
supporter.
when you talk shit, like, you know,
Ah.
Yeah, I don't see like I'm just looking at their fixtures until the end of the season. I really don't see where they.
I was gonna say the return game with Arsenal. I think could probably a good place for them. Given the last game and how that panned out. Maybe some
Actually,
win.
you're right. I think that game. I think that's the game.
Mm. Yeah, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. There is a game against Chelsea as well. You know, Chelsea usually gives up late goals on the counter attack, so we'll see. Man City, they were top of the league for a few hours. The robot scored. Um, it was very interesting because I was listening to the commentators and like even when they would pan to Pep, he did not look happy at all. And even post match, I don't know if you guys listened to his conference or read some of the notes, some of the quotes. He pretty much said that we're not going to win the league if we don't improve. And I think that's kind of harsh because they dominated the game. So I don't know where this is coming from. Like I don't know what part of the game he's talking about. I know some of the commentators were saying how West Ham had a couple of really good chances in the beginning of the second half that Jared Bowen should have scored. Um, but at the end of the day, it was 3-0. Like what more do you want out of your players?
The mind games,
Perfection,
he's a man. He's a
perfection.
master of it.
But I
But
think as a sorry, actually go on, go on.
no, no, I was gonna say you're right. That too, probably. The perfection. He's that kind of manager. But also, again, the mind games. He'll downplay it to make his team look like they're going under the radar, underdog style, put more pressure on the likes of Arsenal or other contenders. So that's just how Pep is. But yeah, Laurent, sorry, what were you were gonna say?
Yeah, no. So I mean, also a valid point, right? But I was gonna look at it. Well, I was looking at it more towards the lens of, right, if that's the direct conversation he's having with his players. Um, I think to me that's the only way a manager should approach, right? Even when you are performing, right, 3-0, right? Because again, like you're trying to push your players to go beyond their current limits, right?
Mm.
Because that's the name of the game, right? You want to make sure that everyone is improves every game, right? Every minute, right? You don't shut off, right? You always give your maximum when you're on the pitch, um, and that's some top level stuff from him, right? So to be honest, I'm not even surprised, right? Because what he did with that team X amount of years ago, it's a reflection of that. So yeah, kudos to him.
Um,
Can I?
yeah, go
So
ahead.
we briefly touched on it, and I want to send this to you guys. I'm gonna drop it in the group chat right now. Okay, this is with regards to City's upcoming schedule. Um, Now the run of fixtures between January and February is kind of what we're looking at here, and I'm just looking at it from the hopeful optimist perspective, right? It's like where does City look like they can drop points next, or where are they going to face their difficult run? Because every season, right? There comes a point in every season where every team has a difficult run, and I think we had ours right already to start this season. Like we had a very difficult start to the season, so some would say to come out of it, to be in December and to be top of the league when you've already been to Stamford Bridge, you've been to Anfield, you've been to Old Trafford, you've been to Villa's Ground,
St. James's
St.
Park.
James's Park. Like we've had a fucking very demanding start to the season. Um, so I think that was sort of our rough spell. Now we've come out of that on the other side in terms of we're still top at Christmas. And so everything balances out, right? Now going into the second half of the season, I mean, again, we're looking at City's run here, right? Um, is this where, if you guys look at those games and look at those fixtures, do you guys see them tailing off, or will they just continue to do what Man City does, and every game is just win, 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 win? Are they going to start to do that robotic shit where they just just go to people's grounds and take 3 points and just and that's that tunnel vision, right till the end of the season? Because for me, I'm looking at this run here, and whilst we all said that this year they don't look at the same City that they did, when they were in their pump, there's still vulnerabilities there, and there's still this and that. Some would say we're foolish to say that, or I'm foolish to say that, because it's like, fuck, like, how could we ever underestimate Pep Guardiola or Erling Haaland? You know what I mean? Like, because now what they're doing is they're playing well. They did look vulnerable once upon a time, a few weeks ago, not too long ago. But now they're it's not just Haaland scoring goals; they're scoring goals from their team, and they're keeping clean sheets. So it's like, okay, now there's a little bit of more well-roundedness to them, you know. So I don't know. Looking at this run, I'm hopeful that surely they're not going to be able to maximize, because that is a difficult run of games. I mean, starting January 1st, obviously this weekend coming, they play Forest. I expect them to get 3 points, to be honest. But Sunderland away, January 1st. Then you have Chelsea at home, January 4th. Brighton, January 7th. So I think that one shouldn't be too difficult for them. And then you get to the EFL Cup, right? Newcastle away. Then you come back into the Premier League, the Manchester Derby, Man United at Old Trafford. The next two fixtures after that are pretty soft. But then again, you get into January 28th, or sorry, February 1st, Tottenham away. Tottenham is their bogey team. They don't do well against Tottenham, really. And then Man City versus Newcastle there on February 3rd. And then February 8th, crucially, Liverpool at Anfield, right? So again, have a look at that when you guys get some time and whatnot too. But just running off of those fixtures and those games, it's like, for me, that's where I see it could be. That's a big period in the city for Man City. You know, if you look at those games and you look at the teams that they have to play in that period in time. So looking at that, like, do you guys think, you know, is there a point where you think that they'll tail off, or do you think that, you know, based on that schedule, or do you think that they'll come through that and still be, you know, either top of the table or right in the mix? You know, I'm curious to know what you guys think about that.
I mean,
That's a
looking
good.
at sorry.
No,
Sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that's a good point. And you know, if we're being completely real, I think those could be a period or games where they do end up dropping points, right? Because on one end, yeah, they do look good. Whatever he did to kind of rejuvenate them for the time being.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's to the same effect as the past City teams, right? Where they do have that cohesion, right? That certain character about them. Um, but you're right. These are tough fixtures, right?
Mhm.
And on top of that too, I don't think it even factors into European football as well,
Mhm.
which they can potentially, right, find themselves in at that stage. So yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. Wouldn't be surprised if that's what it comes down to.
I think for me, it's not more so that they're going to drop points. I think it's more so the games that we also have in those weeks that I think we're going to put a lot of pressure on them. And if they slip with a draw, for example, if they do drop all 3 points, we need to capitalize. Um, like the week that they face Chelsea, we're facing Bournemouth, right? And we play first. So putting that pressure right away. And then the week after, we face Liverpool, they face Brighton, right? Making sure that we take care of business is going to help us in that run that they have. So I'm not necessarily worried about who they face, because they can go through that with flying colors. But if we keep being relentless and we keep doing what we need to keep doing, it is going to catch up to them. Similarly to what we were doing a few years ago, right? We kept winning, but they just would not stop. And we slipped up once, and that was all they needed. So for me, I don't even want to like entertain this discussion. I'd rather just focus on what we need to do. We're at the top. Let's just keep winning. If they slip, they slip. If they don't slip, we just got to take care of business on our own side. And that game at the Etihad is going to be huge. Like that. I think that's where the title is going to be won or lost.
What day
Okay.
is that game?
I think we
Uh,
don't play them until is it April? We don't play them.
looking at it right now.
Yeah, it is April 18th.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of games between now and then, to be
yeah.
honest. Honestly, from an Arsenal lens, you hope that it's not decided at the Etihad there. You know what I mean? There's still so much more football to play in between. And again, depending on how they come out of this run, or us, right? Depending on how we do in our next few games, it could really alter things. So we're gonna have to revisit that conversation. I think about that game at the Etihad in April once we get closer to there. But essentially, Murder, from what you're saying though, like so what do you think based on Man City? I hear what you're saying about us and what we're doing, what we got to do, but regardless, isolating out everything else, do you think they come out of that run and they're still in the mix or they're top of the league, or do you think that they'll fall away?
They'll still be in the mix. I don't think they'll fall away. I think they may go down to like 4 points, right? Like I think maybe we'll get an extra 1 or 2 points on them. But no way. I don't think they'll fall away. No. No. Sunderland. Crucial point away from home because they have 6 players at AFCON and they played quite well. Um, their keeper Royce made like I watched the highlights in this game. He made a couple unbelievable saves, and like in my FPL, I should have started him over Raya because he scored more points than Raya, just due to the sheer number of saves that he had. This is where we all thought that they were going to start slipping and falling down, but they're still in 6th place, and they got a couple tough fixtures coming up. But if they can get out of this you know, this clogged fixture schedule, and they can still maintain, um, you know, 50-50 ball, they can be in and around the top 8, pushing for a conference league. So, um, crucial point away, but it's a poor result for Brighton because you would have thought that they would go on and win the game, and they were throwing everything at it. Like some of the subs that they were making, they were throwing everything at it. Burnley, they did pretty well, getting a point away from home. They scored. I'm pretty sure they scored late, if I recall correctly. Doesn't really make any changes in the bottom half of the table because they scored in the 90th minute, but it's still crucial for them because when they come up to facing West Ham and the way they come up to facing Leeds, Forest, it is going to make an impact the day that they got a draw because West Ham is just on piss poor form. But no changes, and it's a fall from grace for Bournemouth. They're sitting in 14th. Like last year, they were fighting for top 6, and now they're just like, what on earth happened?
Semenyo is gonna bounce. Have we talked about that? You guys hearing this?
Yeah, apparently Liverpool,
Man City.
Man City.
I heard he wants to like leave even in January.
Yeah, I think he has a $65 million clause. I would take him.
Of course.
I would take him in a heartbeat. Someone's got to go. You can't just get him and not have any changes. But the fact that Kai Havertz keeps having setbacks, I would take Semenyo in an instant. And the difficult part is Trossard is playing so good that you can't justify selling him right now. And even Martinelli, he's so clutch in Champions League right now. So it's like, who do you sell? You sell Jesus?
Martinelli.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm still in the camp that if we want to be a consistent title-winning top European side, Martinelli, he's a bench player at best, man. That guy still pisses me off. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, like your guys' thoughts. I mean, I know Laura, I know your thoughts. He's not your flavor of the month either, bro. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't think he's good enough, man. I gotta be honest. I don't think he's good enough.
Well, we'll find out. I know Liverpool's going to go heavy in for him, and now especially with Isak's injury. Yeah, Spurs. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go first.
I was going to say it's funny that we're talking about Semenyo because now we're coming into the Spurs game. Okay. All right. Okay. For any Spurs fan, yeah, listen up. For any Spurs fan, and yes, I sound like fucking a sick bastard right now, but for any Spurs fan that ever said that Mickey Van de Ven and Romero are better partnership than Saliba and Gabriel, go check yourself. Don't like. I would even take Fofana and Chalaba over Mickey Van de Ven and Romero.
Would you actually?
I would 100% because the likelihood of both of them finishing a 90-minute game is 99%. Christian Romero, it's 50-50. You're the so-called captain of your team. You literally just got an ounce of a chance in coming back in the game, being a man down, and you go and pull the most outrageous dumb move any player could have done. And you're still trying to argue it. That's the part that gets me. You fucked up. You kicked out a Konate and you're trying to argue that it wasn't foul play. Shame on you. Because the only reason why people think that and they rate you is because you won a World Cup. That's the only reason why people rate you. You are a shit fucking defender. You were made to look good in that World Cup. And it was staged. We all know it was fucking staged for Messi to win it at Qatar. Some of the calls that they was getting, the second hand ball, it was staged. You, Christian Romero, you are fucking shit. You are absolute dog shit. Pierre Hincapié is better than you. My fucking left testicle is better than you. Mickey Van de Ven, on the other hand, I just feel bad for him. Like, he's actually a decent defender. When he's not popping up with hamstring injuries, he's actually a pretty decent defender. But playing next to a fucking crazy ass head like Romero, bro, you're a fucking moron. You're the captain of the team, and that's the shit that you do. And then Thomas Frank trying to just calm him down, be like, oh, it's okay. It's like, no. If I was Arteta or if I was Thomas Frank, I'd be like, you're not fucking playing. Even after the 3 games or 1 game suspension because you just got a second yellow, you're not playing. But they went down to 9 men and they still had a chance at getting a point. So I don't know what that says. I don't know what that says about Liverpool. I don't know what that says about Spurs. But did you guys think the Javi Simons was a straight red? Or do you think that was harsh? The studs on Van Dijk's calf.
He definitely didn't mean to do it, you know? Like there's no intent there, but letter of the law, you know. I guess, yeah, it didn't look good, you know, it didn't look good at all. Especially when you slow things down in slow motion. I mean, in slow motion, things can always look worse.
Mm.
So I guess when you see the impact that it had, obviously, right, visibly, I think it tore Van Dijk's sock as well, right? Didn't it?
Yeah.
There was a mark right through his freaking socks onto his skin. So yeah, it's clearly bad enough. But I mean, whether you meant to do it or not, same thing as a car accident, right? If you hit somebody, whether it's an accident or not, you're still liable. You're still, guilty. So yeah, I mean, watch your footing. We saw something similar happen the other week. What game was it? Where it was on Van Dijk too. It was the Anthony Gordon. You guys remember
Yeah.
Newcastle versus?
That's what a lot of people were saying.
And Gordon made a similar late sort of tackle on Van Dijk, right? So yeah, it's just again, you just don't be negligent like that, right? Honestly, I hate to bring this one up, some demons for certain Chelsea fans, but the Caicedo one too on Mikel Merino, similar, right? Caicedo was that tad bit late on his challenge on Mikel Merino.
No, that's a completely different story compared to this one.
Yeah, maybe that is a bad example because maybe Caicedo had clearly some intent, there to.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a different story, but yeah, no, I think all in all, yeah, Simmons definitely, again, whether he meant to do it or not, like I clearly don't think he meant to do it. Obviously, that's his international colleague for the Dutch. So, but still, you're negligent, and it wasn't a good tackle in the end. And I think just about it's probably the right decision. I don't know if you guys agree or not.
See, for me, especially it's a tricky one for me because for one, the uh the defender or whoever has the ball in that position, right, usually has the out. Because again, right, he can speed up, he can slow down. And if I speed up and I'm behind him and he slows down, suddenly now I've caught him, right? And it's even that one where defenders are shielding the ball, they're shielding the ball, and all you got to do literally is just breathe on his neck
And they
and
go
he
down,
drops.
yeah.
And suddenly you see what I'm saying? So yeah, again, right, if you're going to letter of the law, yeah, it could be very dangerous. But it's just one of those where like, yeah, he can just stop any moment and then he catches him. So it's like, what do you want the guy to do, right? But
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Leeds. They handed Palace a huge blow at home, 4-1. This is the same Palace team that Mr. Piana believes Chelsea will be facing in the Carabao Cup semi. What say you, sir?
There's a reason why I didn't put $500 on Palace and the Arsenal game. And clearly, I'm a man with common sense, as they like to say, right? So I'll leave it at that. Palace, I think, is looking in terrible shape right now. I think this game would probably mean that they're pretty much out of form, um, at least as of recently. And yeah, no, this is definitely not the kind of result you need going into a quarterfinal game. When is that? Tuesday?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, no, disappointing result all around for them. And yeah, they're gonna have to pick themselves up, right, for that big game on Tuesday. Yeah.
I think they've had one eye on this game on Tuesday for a while, eh, Murder? I think they're going to go strong. Like if you look at their lineup, they played Thursday in the conference, and if you look at the lineup they put out, they completely rested their best players. And then this Leeds game, I
Oh,
mean, if you
against Leeds, they rested their best players
no, not
against.
against Leeds
No, no.
on Thursday in the Conference League.
Oh,
Yeah, on
Yeah.
Thursday in the Conference League, they completely changed their side. And then in this one, I don't know, something tells me that like they have an eye on Tuesday's game and they want to go all out to try and win that competition or progress in that because a normal Palace team to me under Oliver Glasner doesn't like losing 4-1 to Leeds, that seems uncharacteristic of them, you know.
Yeah.
It really does. And then even early on they took Mateta out. So yeah, I think they've kind of have one eye. I actually do think they're going to try and go all out in this Carabao Cup game against us on Tuesday. I
Mm.
think they want to try and get another cup.
did you guys watch
So
this game?
no, it was on the same time as the Arsenal game, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm gonna ask, what the hell happened? Like,
Yeah, for real. That's what I'm saying. Very uncharacteristic.
Second last game, Aston Villa, like we were saying offline, they got away with one today. Mateus Cunha, he missed a howler of a free header. Bruno Fernandes had to go off with a hamstring injury, and who knows how long he's going to be out for because he's the lifeline of that team. Um, yeah, Villa keep winning. Morgan Rogers doing the celebration better than Cole Palmer. He actually looks like a real player. He doesn't, shy away from big games. Doesn't stub his toe. He had his protein intake. So, you know, that's a
I'm
real
I'm
player.
I'm hoping he keeps that same energy, for in 2 weeks.
Mm,
Yeah. Let's hope so, right?
yeah.
Okay, good. That way, he'll really give Raya some work, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Another clean sheet.
Not if he's curling the ball like that. I can tell you right that. I
Oh,
can
Raya's
tell
getting
you.
there.
Uh,
Raya's getting
I,
there.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he
Yeah.
will.
So it's all about foot positioning, my friend.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Eh, You think which keeper is stopping that first goal of his? That curler, huh?
Mm. Courtois.
Hmm, nah.
Gigi.
Who, the Man City guy?
Are you fucked?
Oh, wait. You mean Gigi as in Buffon?
There's only one Gigi.
Hmm.
There's only one Gigi. Do not disrespect the GOAT with fucking Donnarumma. Come on now.
I didn't say Donnarumma simply because of the height, bro. Height and stature that he might be
No.
able to reach, but hmm.
No.
Huh.
Um, last game of the match week, Fulham Forest tomorrow at or today because if you guys are listening to this, Craven Cottage. Um, given that we don't have many games to predict, I put this into our predictions, as well as Arsenal Palace game. Sean Dyche needs to get crucial points away from home, and Fulham, they're looking to not get dragged into a relegation battle. So it's Forest on 18 points, Fulham on 20. It's a huge game for both club sides. Because we're predicting, and I'm not going to say much about it, we'll jump into the game that we've been waiting for. CJ, this is a huge fucking game. We don't win the League Cup very often. I think we've only won it like 2 or 3 times in our history, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Last time was 93, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's only because we won the FA Cup way more in the 2000s. Winner faces Chelsea in the first leg at Stamford Bridge. Second leg will either be at the Emirates or Selhurst. Both teams played the late game, so there's no excuse on the amount of rest. But Arsenal did have a rare week off. So you're kind of looking at it from that standpoint. We had a full week off where Palace had to play. Like you said, I think Palace are going to go strong, and my lineup, like I think you give Kepa this game. I went Kepa, Timber, Saliba, and Capier, Lewis Skelly, Zubamendi, Rice, Odegaard, Eze, Gyökeres, and Saka. There's been a lot of shout that I've read online. Instead of Gyökeres, play Jesus, give him a rest, and then bring Gyökeres on second half. But this is a lineup that I would go with. I think Eze has to start. I think he needs to be able to make a statement against his old club. And yeah, that's pretty much. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I do anticipate us to go on to the next round.
Who you guys think is gonna come clutch for you guys?
For me,
Mm.
Eze.
That is a good shout because, again, he hasn't played much the last couple games, right? Didn't play in this one. Didn't play in our Champions League game. Pretty much the 3 or so games that we've had post the Aston Villa game where he made that mistake on the back post. You can tell, Arteta's really showing he's not favoring him in these certain games, especially with Ødegaard coming back. It hasn't really boded well for Eze's chances to be in the team, But I think you're right. I think he'll start in this one because, again, motivation factor playing against his old club. And I think he'll know that he has a point to prove now, right? The competition for places. Funny enough, as we're getting all these defensive injuries, we are getting our attacking players coming back in the attacking position. So as they might find it hard to get back get in the team. But if he's going to play in this game, which I do think he will as well, yeah, he's got to perform. He's got to perform to get his trust back in the manager, and then also again the factor of it being his old club. I think he could be the X factor again in this game, like he was in the Premier League game that we all watched not too long ago. So yeah, I agree with that. I agree with Eze being a key player here, being a point of difference. I also think. Again, I pretty much almost fully agree with your lineup there. I'm just wondering if Mikel Merino will come in somewhere in there, or if the only other one I think that he might do is a Saka and Madueke swap, maybe, but maybe not, because again, this is an important game, and Saka will play whenever he's fit under Arteta for sure. So,
can I be honest for a second?
The
lineup that my heart wants to see. The back line is still the same: Kepa, Timber, Saliba, and Capier MLS. But what I want to see is Rice, Ødegaard, Eze, Madueke, Merino, Saka. That's what I want to see. You wanna like prepare for this game? We're gonna fucking come at you. That's what I want to see. Is it gonna happen? Absolutely not. But that's a lineup that I would like. If I saw that Tuesday, I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, let's go!" I'd be amped. I would be like, "Okay, you're showing guts. Like, let's fucking go for it."
You wouldn't again, just playing devil's advocate, because I'm not saying I disagree, but I'm just for the sake of devil's advocate, you wouldn't play Gyökeres again, considering he just scored, and keep his run going, right? Try and get him back into some form.
Yeah, but maybe he might just be like, okay, let me if I am gonna play Rice as the only holder, let me get a little bit more control with Marino and some defensive work rate. That might be what he's thinking because again, playing Madueke, not he's not the greatest at tracking back. So that's my only thought process. And maybe he's trying to keep Gyökeres fit for the Brighton game that's coming up, the Villa game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting to see, man. It is. I actually agree with definitely the back five, including the keeper. I think Kepa should play in this game because again, it's almost a diss for him not to play. Like, why not? This isn't fucking who we had last year, right? Neto and those bums. The Kepa's a good, solid Premier League keeper, experienced keeper. Like, surely he can play in this game. And David Ryan needs a little bit of a rest, so I would play Kepa as well for sure. And I think the back line sort of picks itself, and even the MLS Calafiori swap, I fully agree with that because again, I think one of the things we need to do is manage Calafiori. He's still a bit injury prone, and you got to manage him a bit. And you have a very quality player in MLS who can easily come and slot in this game, and he needs some minutes. So I think I fully agree with that as well. And then the rest of the back line, yeah, pretty much picks itself. So yeah, for the most part, I think this is pretty on point. And I think yeah, whatever we choose to do, we're at home. We have the squad depth. Um, yeah, I think it's all set for us to go and win the game, right? Palace is not in great form, so I don't think there's any excuses, man. I don't think there's any excuses at all for this one.
Laurent, did you want to add anything before we go to the predictions?
Nope. No. Pretty straightforward.
All right, my prediction's in there. Who do you guys got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Arsenal.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Show some balls.
What's there to show, bro? Like,
All right.
uh,
Fulham Forest at Craven Cottage.
I'm gonna go Fulham.
Fulham. Fulham.
I'm gonna go draw.
Fulham. 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 I'm gonna go draw, eh? Fuck. Do I give Laurent a chance at getting ahead? Nah, fuck it. I'm gonna go Fulham. They've been hard to beat at home. And Harry Wilson has been on fire recently. I think they're gonna show up for this game. They have to. They fucking have to.
We're locked in, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. We're locked in.
Wait,
Yeah.
did you
I
type it
don't.
in? Because I don't see here.
Yeah, it's in there.
Oh, mine's still showing empty. All right, no worries.
Gotta refresh your phone, dog.
Yeah, no, I see it now.
All right.
I was gonna say now that we've made our predictions, we can kind of give a analysis on the game. But yeah, for me, like the reason why I kind of went with that, so I'm looking at the form of both of those teams, and this is like a typical mid-table to lower end of the table clash, right? Like both teams, they have 2 or 3 losses in their last five. I think they have the exact same record in their last 5 games,
Yeah.
in the Prem. And Forest is coming off of a 3-0 slap at home to Spurs, although everyone batters Spurs. But Fulham hasn't been great either. I mean, their last three, as recently as their last three, Fulham, I think they lost 2 prior to last week. Last week they scraped past Burnley, I think 3-2. But prior to that, they're coming off 2 L's. So yeah, this one can go either way, to be honest. Like I also even had a thought to predict Forest to win, like something crazy like that. But it's possible because again, I don't know. Fulham hasn't been very convincing to me. And you guys, I don't know if you guys factor this in. but they've lost some key players to AFCON, right? Bassi, Iwobi, a couple of their key players as well. So Fulham doesn't fully convince me at the moment. And Forest, I know Forest, like, they blow hot and cold, right? Like I said, they can slap Spurs 3-0, but go and lose, some more unconvincing games. But I don't know. Like, I think any three of those results could have been possible in this game. But Fulham, yeah, they don't convince me at the moment, and I think I predicted them as one of my sides, like the surprising teams of the season in a positive way. Like, I thought they would have a better season than what they're having right now. So they've been pretty disappointing so far, to say the least, to be honest. But Marco Silva's your guy, man. So what's going on over there? What's the manager saying?
Needs to get sacked if he doesn't win this game.
And still replaces Arne Slot?
100%. 100%. Places Enzo.
Damn, shame we didn't get a third game in there. Eh? I was just looking at it. It's only 2 games.
Yeah. We'll be back at 3 games soon.
Not much going on this week then, I guess. Just those 2 games. No other games, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's fucking Christmas week, yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Only 1 game on Boxing Day this year, man. That's disappointing. Usually the Premier League is known for like a whole bunch of Boxing Day fixtures. Like, there's only 1 this year.
Trying to promote people to go shopping.
I was going to make a joke, but I'll refrain.
All right. Well, I feel like I know what joke you were gonna say, but it's
where was I going with this?
I do too.
It involves a certain.
All I'm saying is maybe the Nike store will have extended hours for Boxing Day, ladies and gentlemen, for anyone who's looking for kits. Just don't go in the final hour is my suggestion to all you folks out there who are looking to buy kits on Boxing Day.
I think that's a good segue. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Help us fund Laurent's first ever Chelsea kit. And we'll see you again.
Peace.
Adios.
Adios.